All right. Well, this is an exciting episode for We've Connected. This is the first time ever that we have run a challenge and announced winners. So, LaQuinda, we are so excited and proud of you for winning the Launch a Business Challenge.
Thank you. I'm excited. Like I'm still like
Yeah, we still have a few logistics together that we have to iron out to get you going with your free year of Weave.
Yes.
But we wanted to interview you and talk to you about your journey to become an entrepreneur, but particularly an entrepreneur with the business that you submitted to the challenge. So maybe as a quick teaser, we'll tell everybody what your business is, and then we'll jump back and tell the story of how you got there. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so the business that I submitted is Somewhere Dancing, and it is an LLC. And basically, Somewhere Dancing is an effort to spread cultural education and like health and wellness, but all through dance. So using dance as more than a speculative performance based type of thing, but using dance to actually impact individuals and communities on a more personal level. And basically, basically it's like travel, dance, and wellness, like a lifestyle brand. And we offer like fitness class, like dance fitness classes. There's going to be a YouTube channel that goes along with it. Hopefully a podcast in the future. We'll be doing events, all types of things just to integrate dance more back into the community as more than like something you just watch and, kind of share on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah. Quick side note, be careful with your hand.
Okay.
Loud. And slamming it next to the phone. Yeah.
Okay.
And your business is based out of
Atlanta,
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Cool.
And yeah, that's where I'm from. So that's where it's based at. But it'll be a traveling.
Yes. And we'll get to that. So maybe we jump back in time a little bit and talk about where you first got an entrepreneurial itch. Did you always have it? Where did it come from?
So I had it, but in a very roundabout way. Like I've always known I needed like a job that let me have like more free range of my time and that allowed me to dip into different creative spaces. So in undergrad, I went to school for communications, and my focus was broadcasting for film, TV, and radio. But I wanted to focus on PR because I figured everyone needs PR people. And then with PR, you're doing event planning, you're writing, you can end up doing commercial. Like it felt very broad what you can do with PR. And so I was doing like a lot of PR internships, and I was like, oh, like this is like.
Well, once the rubber hit the road, you were thinking,
yes,
like all of the
yeah, all the internships I did in PR, I really enjoyed them. I got to travel with some of them, but it was very much so like, I'm a big creative, so but it was a very much so like suit and tie. I was always in like a cubicle or something, and it was just like, okay, I can't. So this was during school, and then when I graduated, I had started back dancing in college, and once I graduated in 2013, this was like when YouTube was kind of fresh and new. There weren't like shows and stuff on YouTube. It was just kind of like, very raw user content. So I was following all dancers from all over the country and all over the world, and it was just like, I was like, wow, what if there was like
well, and even back then it was probably them recording their live events, right? It wasn't necessarily what it's become today, where it's like more about what you're doing right now. A lot of the iPhone type videos that people have kind of grew to love, or even like teaching you how to dance.
Yeah, they weren't even doing that. It was more so people would just record the classes they were teaching.
Yeah.
Or they would just record themselves dancing, but it was or like concept videos, choreography, but it was very raw. And I was just following all these people, and I was like, this is how I was learning about different cultures. And I was like, this is, and I'm a big fan of Anthony Bourdain and like travel shows. And I was like, oh my God, why isn't there a travel show where someone just is like traveling and like talking to dancers and learning about the culture that way? And that was 2013. And that's when I first had the idea. But I didn't have the name or anything yet. Like I've gone through like 4 names since then. Started backwards from there. And the first business that I created was 2013 when I graduated college. It was a nonprofit, and it was called Cuban Lands. It was me and my partner, and we created camps and dance classes in areas where it was like too expensive, and we taught kids about dance and how to record and create like edit videos and all this type of stuff. We did a performance every year, and I did that for like a couple years, and then she went to go get her master's, and then a few years later I went to go get mine. So then we kind of let that company dissolve. So yeah, it was like right after I graduated college. Like I started the business maybe 2 months after I graduated college, but I still was working like for other people, like as side gigs. So I've had it for a minute. Like I just know I need creative range, like free range to do different and wear many hats, and like so I figure I have to work for myself.
Yeah. It's funny. Someone asked me a while ago, and I'd never been asked this before. Poop. You're back.
Sorry. Yes, it's blanked. I'm sorry. You said someone asked you a while ago.
Yeah, someone asked me a while ago, are you made to work for someone? And I thought about that question because I thought that's interesting, like being made or not made to work for someone. And I think there's a lot to unpack there in terms of them and because they're very entrepreneurial, the people who asked me. But being your own boss is a very interesting thing. The E-Myth Revisited is a very quintessential entrepreneur book. And it talks a lot about all of the different hats we have to wear as entrepreneurs that maybe you don't anticipate yourself having to wear, that there's this dream of being an entrepreneur and being able to do what you want with your time. But really the task at hand comes with so much, comes with, I mean, you're pretty much a small business in one person.
Yes.
Dang it, and that was on me. I need to turn off my notifications. Anyway, so you were talking about that desire to be an entrepreneur, to govern your time. How well do you think you anticipated what true entrepreneurship was?
I think I anticipated it pretty well in that, like in school, like the program I was in, because we were the first graduating class, they had just started that program. And I was doing so many other activities. Like I was involved like in dance, like I was on a dance team, and then I was also like in the honors club, and I was like in all these different things that I had to really like do a lot of things in college. And it didn't really, I feel like I did pretty well with it. It didn't stress me out as much as it did like my friends and stuff, or other people. Like, how are you doing? Like, how are you able to go to, have class all day, then go rehearse with your dance team from 6 to 12, get up, go take an 8 o'clock class, rehearse for this performance, help plan this event with honors, like all that. Like I thrive in staying busy and being able to switch activities because of like, I wouldn't say I have a short attention span, but I need to be like stimulated by multiple things. So I kind of was prepared for that. One thing I wasn't prepared for was, even though I knew I would be having to do a lot, like your days are way longer.
Yeah. Especially
yeah. It's not a 9 to 5. It's like a 9 to 9 every day. Um, it's like a 9 to 9 every day. And then you're always thinking of like what else needs to happen next, because there's no one telling you, and it's on you whether everything gets done. And the other, the team, or had people come in for the team, the responsibility that comes with, okay, so everyone bought into this vision, everyone is working hard trying to help with this vision, and it's really on you. So you have like a lot of it can bring on anxiety sometimes, in terms of like, okay, so everyone's working for this, and I have to make, like, if anything, everything falls on me to
Yeah.
get, this done.
Yeah. So you had the desire to create somewhere dance. And see, this is what's hard when I already know a little bit of your story. Have you already mentioned your master's?
I mentioned I went, but I didn't mention why. So
Yeah.
let's go back. So when
You
I
had
said,
this idea. Okay, you
yeah.
go.
So after the first business dissolved, I already had the idea, but then I didn't start. That wasn't the first business I started. It felt like somewhere
So you
dance.
had experienced this 9 to 9 before. You knew what you were getting into.
Yes. At this point, when I started my first business, not really.
Yeah.
But so with this one though, I've had this idea since 2013, but I've done and started and stopped maybe 3 or 4 dance projects, businesses, brands in between, because
Yeah.
this one felt the least attainable, and it felt like the most work, and I felt the one I felt the least prepared for. So I kept putting it off. I kept saying I need more experience. I need to have this credential. I need to have this accolade, all this stuff. So I started working backwards. I was like, if someone was a dance expert and had a show, that I would actually, listen to what they're saying. What are the qualifications that person would need to have? Or if a person had a traveling class, what type of things do I want them to know how to do? So I started working backwards from there. And so I went to school in South Carolina, at South Carolina State University. It's a HBCU in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And at that point, I had never traveled anywhere like outside the United States. And I was doing an internship with the Peace Corps. So I moved to DC to do an internship with to do my PR internship in the headquarters, because the plan was to go on a Peace Corps mission for 2 years. That'll be my first international experience. But when I was there, all the missions they hadn't started doing arts missions. Like, all the missions were like, medicine, agriculture, economy, business, like all those things. And I kept asking my supervisors, I was like, is there a way I can go and like teach dance or like artistic things? She's like, no, we don't do that. She's like, but honestly, from what you want to do, she's like, there are master's programs out there for it. Because she was actually an anthropologist. And she ended up doing Peace Corps and just stayed. But she was like, yeah, there's dance anthropology programs that you can sign up for. So she's the one who steered me on the path. So I started looking up dance anthropology and all this stuff. And I came across a master's degree in ethnochoreology in Ireland. And it was the only master's degree for ethnochoreology anywhere that you can get a master's in it. And I was like, ethnochoreology. I was like, okay, that sounds like what I want to do, because it's studying dance and culture through many disciplines, not just anthropology. You study dance through sociology, you study it with psychology, you study it with like any tool you need. That's how you study dance and culture. And that's how I ended up going to Ireland to get my master's. And then by the time I came back, Peace Corps was actually...
And it's not just that, right? Ireland, the university you went to, was the only...
Yes, the only master's program
provider of that much.
Yeah, for ethnochoreology anywhere. So I had to figure out how to get there. And between going to Ireland, like, again, I had a mass communications background. And, when you're applying for masters, they want to see you have some type of experience. So I took a year. I contacted everyone over there, like any ethnochoreologist I can find. I Googled ethnochoreology DC, and I found a woman who worked at the Smithsonian, but she wasn't working as an ethnochoreologist. She was working as an archivist. So I ended up doing an internship for a year at the Smithsonian in DC, as a video videography and ethnochoreology intern to prepare to even get into the program, to have it on my resume. And so then I end up getting into the program. I ended up getting a scholarship that paid half my tuition, and then I had to go. And so that was crazy. But it was awesome. I would have stayed in Ireland. Like, Europe treats and pays their artists really well. Like, I was teaching, at one point I was teaching classes on the weekends at a dance studio for like €50 an hour. Yeah. So that type of thing. You don't find that much in America. And they had a lot of opportunities for artists there. It was just the weather. I couldn't take it. It just wasn't enough sunlight.
Rainy, gray. You mean that wasn't your jam?
That wasn't my jam at all. I was like, oh my God, there's no sun here. Barely. It's like it was summer like 2 weeks out of the year. So
yeah.
But I loved it. It was an awesome experience. So I did that in preparation. And while I was there, I had planned to start. I was like, I'm going to shoot my experience in Ireland. And that's going to be the start of it. And at the time, I was calling it We All Dance. And then it changed to We All Move. And then I got back from Ireland. And I was like, okay, so now I need money to start it. Like, I need to start it for real this time.
Well, so pause right there, because you mentioned 2 names. Did the structure or idea of the business change as well?
Yes, as time went on and I kept like doing these false starts, like I might, I might get all this energy and shoot like a whole episode or try to shoot one. And I was holding classes the entire time, but new ideas kept coming, like, or new connections started to come. I was like, this would be perfect, like writing books for it. Planning dance retreats, like putting out, like all these ideas started coming later. And then that's where the idea came. And it was actually kind of like from talking to people, because I like to travel and I like to go to dance events. And usually when I'm traveling, it's because I've been hired to dance somewhere or to teach or choreograph. And I remember someone's asking, like, where are you right now? Like, there's no telling where you are. And I was like, I'm, somewhere dancing for sure. Then I was like, oh my God. And I was just like, I wrote it in my journal. I was like, that's the name. Like, it encompasses everything that it's about. It's about like travel. It's about dance. It's about, chasing like your bliss, your wellness.
And maybe even like, when you said it in that context, to me, it made me think of you being like, wherever dancing is, that's home. Somewhere dancing. Doesn't matter where, but I'm somewhere and I'm dancing while I'm there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Like, I've always found home and I found understanding through dancers. Like, anywhere I go, if I don't know a dancer in the city, if someone knows them, then I'm like, hey, like, I went to Cuba like a summer ago with my dance program, and a dancer that I met in Ireland, who I went to Ethiopia with, he had a connection in Cuba. And the dancer in Cuba ended up like being our tour guide and like taking us around for like to all the spots we wouldn't have known regularly. He ended up taking us to all these really nice places. So that's how it always works. Like, anytime I've learned a lot about a culture or have a really good time somewhere, I'm with other dancers or I'm going to a dance spot. So,
well, and you think of too just the impact learning someone else's culture has on someone. And dance is a huge part of many, many, many cultures, that really kind of gives an insight into even the history of the people. But aside from that, I wanted you to dive a bit more. Now that we've kind of reached the point where you've landed on this business name and you've done your master's, you feel like you're gaining all of the accolades and certificates, like you said, that you need, which is so funny because I've been there, and I wonder how much it's a female thing to.
Because honestly, no one asked me to have these things, and I probably been way further along. If I would have just started in 2013 instead of building up.
But at the same time, look at all of the things that you just listed and did. Anyway, so you you land upon, you have this eureka moment of, this is the business. What is your dream for the business? What does it look like what are all the different arms of the business? How do they integrate with each other? And execution. Yeah. What is your 5 years from now? You've arrived. What does it look like?
5 years from now. Okay. So in 5 years, I would like Somewhere Dancing to be like the go-to brand for, like, if you say, hey, we need to talk to someone who is really knowledgeable about like the start of, or not the start, but like, you know, a particular Orisha dance in Cuba, or
so you thinking like even having consulting services for musical productions or movies?
Yes, or like research, because so I would like it to be, so there's many arms, like you said, there's many hats. So I want a physical space eventually. Like I want a space, and multiple spaces actually, where, you know, there's a dance studio that's not only hiring dancers or providing dancers with a space, but also creating synergy between all the different worlds of dance, because a lot of times dance exists in these different pockets, and they're kind of separated in terms of work and who gets paid the most. And so you have like cultural dance, then you have commercial dance, and you have concert dance. One place where you can sing, you can do all these types of dance in this one place, and you can, you know, we'll have like grant writing services to help dancers get, you know, write grants. We'll have, you know, auditions and host like places where, you know, people have whole brands on TikTok now, like a recording studio where people can have a place to record like their YouTube series and things like that. So there's that. Then I want the show to be, if it never gets picked up off of YouTube, you know, there's opportunities to get paid on YouTube, but I want to have like a nice following, you know. I don't want to say a number, but like a large enough following and fan base that continue, you know, where people are interested in buying the merch. I want to have at least 2 retreats a year, like Somewhere Dancing. We're going, you know, this year, Somewhere Dancing, we're going to be in Russia. And then the next year is like, this year, Somewhere Dancing retreat is in Ireland, and we're learning step dancing. So it's like you're literally learning about the culture through the dance. And so you have the studio, the show, the services for dancers. And then I want to, throughout this time, be publishing my research, like putting out books and articles about dance. And of course, then there's like the classes we offer. So I do Club Cardio is under Somewhere Dancing right now, which is a dance fitness brand. But I also want to be able to bring people in. Like Club Cardio, we're doing dance hall from Jamaica this week. You know, that's something interesting to come through. Or we have this artist from Nigeria coming to teach some classes. And then you're like, you're coming for fitness and dance to have fun, but you also end up learning about, you know, these people's culture in the process, which I find is the biggest deterrence for like ignorance and bigotry and like assumptions, you know, that we have about other people and their culture. It's just literally we don't know anyone, and we haven't done the research to find out about these people. So I feel like that's one of the core tenets of Somewhere Dancing.
I love
to use the knowledge to
yeah. Dream big. I love it. So you have an idea, and this is the dream. Talk to us about how and where you found the Launch a Business Challenge, and what it meant for you when you found it, and the process you went through to submit.
So I found the Launch a Business Challenge through Instagram. I think one of your Instagram ads popped up because I feel like I follow the hashtag like grants or challenges or something like that. Like I follow a lot of these business hashtags, and you guys just popped up, and I'm like, this whole year, like the entire quarantine, it was hard because I was like, okay, now the travel aspect, which is like the biggest aspect of the business, like, you know, outside the dance, now we can't travel anywhere, we can't go anywhere. So I was just like really like, oh, maybe I missed my window. You know, maybe this is not the time for this. Maybe I just need to keep, because right now I'm a professor at Savannah State University. So that's what I ended up doing right after my master's. That was like, I got hired to teach at Savannah State. And so I've been there ever since. It's been 3 years. Well, this is my 4th year. And so I've just been like, okay, maybe I should just really dive into this professor thing and like kind of put summer dancing on the back burner, because I really just didn't even feel like dancing the whole first half of this year. Like I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to Atlanta and I saw the challenge. And I saw the challenge. I was like, okay, so this, I'm just going to go ahead and file my LLC. So I used the Georgia Secretary of State, and I was looking at some of the steps you guys were talking about. I looked up what Weave was and like the story behind Weave, and how the founders pitched it at the conference and how it started with the dentist and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, so this, if anything, I can, file for the state Secretary of State, and then I'll just submit and see what happens. And by that time, I submitted it, and then I submitted it to you guys, and I had started back teaching classes at like dance fitness classes, and then I won. So I really, that was a really big boost, and like I feel like a sign for me. I'm taking it as a sign, because it was very like quarantine made it feel very like, okay, so maybe I missed my window. If I would have started before, then I would be, at this place, this imagined place in my head with it. And now I can't travel. So now, I have to wait 2 or 3 years to start. So that's the place I was in. But then this challenge helped me like snap out of it. Like, okay,
and it could be.
You said what?
Sorry, I was just thinking it could be that now's the perfect time to start something like this, where you get your digital footprint, you really map out your business plan and how you want to execute on each piece, and you haven't already invested in reserving event spaces abroad or plane tickets or equipment, that can really could have caused you to go out of business because of COVID. Whereas now, I think it's really kismet. It could be just the perfect time.
Yeah, I think so too. Like after going forward and really looking at everything that's going on, more people are looking for, content now more than ever. More people are more willing to hear from a woman now more than before starting back then. People are more open to a woman being an expert on something. Like Black Lives Matter has made it so that, more people are more, like more people are willing to listen to a Black American's experience. Because usually when you see these travel shows, it's like someone with a British accent and, and they have like their khakis and tans on, and that's who we look at as experts. So now I feel like there is more of a, everything that happened this year has carved more of a space for my voice and people.
Yeah. Well, I think the context, right? Like, this doesn't happen very often. I just want you to know, as I'm looking at you with your beautiful hair and your beautiful eyelashes and your necklace, I am actually still in my sweats. And I feel like, from my experience, at least when I've hopped on work meetings and different things, that there are lots of other people who are kind of doing what I'm doing today. and what that means to be, I think we could connect some dots there too. Like, does that mean we're getting out as much? Does that mean we're moving our bodies as much? Like, I think in addition to everything you were saying, contextually, like I'm in a basement right now, and I drive my car once a week, maybe, which I actually kind of love.
Right.
But how much there's still that need and desire to move our bodies, to connect, to, all of these things. And we're coming up with all of these creative solutions to solve these problems that we've never had to face before.
Right. And people are more aware of what is needed and what they're missing and what, like we're all trimming the fat right now. It's like all these years I've been spending all this money doing this or trying to be a part of this, and now I'm just really realizing I don't need that. Like I need at the simplest, you know, at the bare minimums, I need to have connection with my family. I need to have a way to stay healthy and fit. I need a way to connect with the people I love, and I of course need a way to keep a roof over my head. But everything else, we kind of realizing, like, you know, a lot of the stuff is frivolous. So you're right. Like it definitely is putting a lot of things in perspective for everybody.
Yeah,
in a good way, I think.
So with
good.
all of those things converging, I think you are in a beautiful position, and I am so excited for you. Weave is so excited for you. We'll touch base again on the podcast in a few months and see where you're at, and see how it's evolved, because things move fast in those early days.
They do. I'm putting out another video today because I've had like this whole Christmas holiday is super busy for me. But I'm putting out another video. The gym that I am partnering with for Club Cardio, which is a fitness class, we're doing like a special like for January 1st. If you sign up, you get to take all the classes at the gym for like $29 for 2 weeks. So we're doing that, and I still need to send you like the raw footage from the first, like the pop-up classes we did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
we got some good footage. So yeah, I'm editing videos right now. I have my first production meeting Wednesday with you know, sending out emails to subjects in terms of the YouTube channel, and I'm also doing a branding shoot in a few weeks. Thanks to the grant, I'm gonna do like a nice branding shoot to put everything together, and so I'm trying to just like really take advantage of this moment and not be so fearful of what is gone, you know, the old normal, but really embrace and see where the opportunities are in the new normal.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary, but needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's unknown. I remember when I was pregnant, I only have one child, so it was my first and only pregnancy thus far in my life. And probably the biggest, most scariest thing I can think of next to starting a business. And I remember telling myself, but I remember telling myself all the time, I am at peace with the unknown. Like, there's tomorrow holds so much unknown, and I'm not pregnant and I'm not starting a business, but like there is that ambiguity, and yeah. Anyway, that's funny. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, so I really need to, like, I want to take this time between now, like this little gap that we have between now and the new year. I'm putting myself through like an entrepreneurial like boot camp. Like I'm going to get through all the podcast episodes. And then I found like this creator. He's a young Black American guy. He started a series like in his living room called Giants, and then it ended up getting picked up and it won an Emmy. So he has like this series about, you know, how to push forward and how to, you know, how to network across and start where you are instead of trying to, you know, connect with Oprah or Tyler Perry to get shows made, like connecting with your peers. So I'm just doing like this entrepreneurial boot camp right now. And I love it. I'm trying to get my schedule, entrepreneurial schedule together before the new year starts. Like, you know, what time I need to get up every morning, what time I need to be eating every day, how long I need to be checking emails, like all that stuff. So
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, LaQuinda, you have a bright, bright future, and we are so excited for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Yes.